Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, we have made it to the middle part of Wimbledon 2023. And Bryce, let me tell you something, brother. This Wimbledon has been out of control, crazy with all kinds of goodness.
It has been. And you know what? Just in case the listeners aren't ready, we all about Chris.
Uh, all day,
This
all day.
this is the Chris Eubanks story for 2023. We are so proud of that young man. I mean, it's like, and I wish I could say I called this for him, but I
Right.
didn't,
I did
which
not.
makes it all the more surprising, but
Right.
no less enjoyable.
Bryce, let's just dive in here. Chris Eubanks has just been showing up and showing out. First and foremost, he went to Mallorca, Rafael Nadal's hometown, and was like, you know what? This is a grass tournament. Everybody's got their eyes on Wimbledon. I'm about to use this as my stepping stone / building block, and he did just that. Just snatched that title. Played what's the boy named Manarino, I believe,
Yep.
in the final, and was like,
Mm-hmm.
Manarino, I ain't about to scatter you.
And your 22-pound string, your tension and your racket at 22 pounds. Boy, go ahead and
Right?
tighten them strings up.
Tighten
You
them strings up.
play me with that net. Out there catching balls.
Exactly. Catching and slanging. That's all it is. And
Oh
Bryce,
man.
for him to take that title and then come into Wimbledon and just show out in the manner that he has been absolutely incredible. It's just insane, Bryce. We talking. He beat Cam Norrie in his
Yep.
backyard.
Yep.
In his and wasn't like it was 5 sets. He beat him in 4 sets, but mind you, he gave a whole biscuit.
Yep.
Come on, man.
I
What
mean,
man?
Okay. Chris, and let's just talk about it since we're already on it. You can already
Yes.
already tell this is going to be a disjointed show today.
Yes.
But like you, CC Paz, I thought he had a chance to do it. And when I woke up this morning and he was already down a set, I was like, dang,
Mhm.
And unfortunately, Isaac, I had to go golfing this morning.
Right.
So
Right.
I didn't get a chance to really watch it, but I'm just checking out the scores on my app on my phone in my golf cart.
Right.
And I'm just losing my mind. Right?
It's crazy, Bryce. It's great because and like I said, for me going into that match, I actually predicted that Eubanks would win that match, and here's why: because they are Marataglu kids, if you will.
Yep.
Both of them have attended the Patrick Marataglu Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same thing with Coco, same thing with Serena. All of them were together. So you
Yep.
know that Eubanks had to have seen CC Paz. They had to have probably played together or rallied together or done something together to the point of Chris knowing him at least from a standpoint of I've seen you around, I've seen your game, I'm not scared of you.
Right.
And
I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed. Exactly, because your game is my game. It's basically who does it better on the day because they both
Right.
have big serves. They both really dictate with their forehands. I feel like Chris has a much better chip backhand than CC Paz, and he showed that in that match. His net game was on point. Can we say it again? On
On
point.
point.
Thank you. Bryce, that young man is showing out.
And what I'm loving about it is it doesn't seem like he feels like he's overwhelmed by the situation.
Exactly.
He looks like he feels like he belongs there.
Like he belongs. Like I'm supposed to be doing this. And Bryce, remember a few months back at Miami, you and I talked about this. And we both said this. We were like, Chris needs to do what? Bypass the clay court season
Yep.
and go and get on a surface like grass that's going to highlight his game so
Yep.
he can maintain his confidence and it will allow him to even move his career forward even more. And tell me ain't somebody tell me somebody didn't listen, Bryce. Come on
Uh,
now.
hey, well, he did just that, and look at how it's paying off.
Crazy, Bryce. Chris Eubanks is in the quarters of Wimbledon.
Yes. Now we will talk about it from
It just
the
makes me
next.
laugh because it's so awesome.
I mean, and wait a minute. And the other thing about this is that it isn't just about the money
No,
he's going to get for at least being a quarterfinalist,
right.
but the points and where his ranking is
Yes.
going to be. Chris, any days of qualifying for tournaments, at least across these next 12 months,
Done. Done.
done.
And let's be clear, he is sneaking up on a whole bunch of the Americans. Let us be clear. He is sneaking up on just like Ben Shelton snuck up on a few of them and jumped up in the top, what was the top 30, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris Eubanks is. I believe they already said that by him reaching the quarters, he'll be in the top 40.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing. Remember, Wimbledon this year is just a bunch of bonus points for everybody
Correct.
because
Correct.
nobody is defending anything. So whoever gets further in the tournament
Mm-hmm.
gets more points
Gets more points. That's exactly right.
and moves forward. Yeah, Chris is yes, because we started off. The Americans started off really well in this
Yeah.
tournament, but then there was a drop off there, like
Right.
about a round ago.
Exactly, a big fall off, if you will, because I had predicted a lot of Americans would go through, and the one brother American that I picked that would be there,
Mm,
it definitely is a different one. And don't get me
right.
wrong, I am ecstatic about Chris Eubanks being the last man standing from the U.S. I just didn't predict it.
No, no, not at all. And like people have heard on TV, and we've had the pleasure of chatting and vibing with Chris a couple of times. Uh, couldn't happen to a nicer guy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely agree. He's just a great guy. We've chatted with him, interviewed him. He's just a wonderful, wonderful person, and we're ecstatic for him. So, Bryce, I know of course, we're gonna do our mid Fortnight thing where we talk about predictions, tell more lies, and all this other fun stuff. But before we get to all of that, let's make sure that we represent and give our sponsors some love. That would be our main man, Paul S. Haberman. So, folks, this episode of Brothers on Tennis, of course, is brought to you by the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Are you a sports enthusiast in need of legal representation? Look no further than the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Paul S. Haberman is not just an experienced attorney, but also a longtime lecturer on sports law related matters. He is currently presenting Everyday Sports Law, a continuing legal education lecture for attorneys in sports and entertainment law, was named to the Super Lawyers New York Metro Area Rising Stars list for 3 consecutive years and has been a valuable resource for sports professionals for over 15 years.
In fact, Paul S. Haberman once managed a world level junior welterweight boxer and former Olympian. He has represented 5 current or former world champions in boxing and MMA and has had at least 50 to 60 other clients involved in sport. From contract law to healthcare law and intellectual property law, Paul S. Haberman covers it all. Don't let legal issues hold you back from achieving your dreams. Call the law offices of Paul S. Haberman today at 201 564 0590 to schedule a consultation. That's 201 564 0590. And for those in the back, it's still 201 564 0590. Let Paul S. Haberman fight for you both in and out of the ring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Bryce, we've hit our mid Fortnight. A lot of great tennis at Wimbledon happening. Sir, how would you like to start as far as doing our recap?
Well, we started talking about Chris with the men, so let's just go ahead and get the men together.
All
That's
right. I
time.
like it. I like it.
So starting with so Isaac, looking at the 8 players for the men that you call to make the quarterfinals, how
Yes.
many of them actually made the quarterfinals?
I didn't do. No, I did horrible. I was looking at my round of 16, but I was like, yeah, no, I did horrible. So honestly, Bryce, as crazy as this sounds, I only had 2 guys make it in my quarters.
Hey, I had 3. I had
And
3.
who was the third? Because I know we got the same 2.
Um, Medvedev.
There you go.
Yeah, so I had Alcaraz, Medvedev, and Djokovic making
Yeah.
it.
I had Alcaraz and Djokovic because remember I had Tommy Paul upsetting Medvedev, which yeah,
Uh,
I was on my whole America tangent and yeah, I remember because I had 4 of them in the quarterfinals. I had Tiafoe, Tommy Paul, Sebastian Korda, and Fritz. So yeah.
well, let's talk about the people that did make it that
Yes,
we did not think was going to make it.
I,
So,
I like that.
so Alcaraz, right? You and I both had agreed that he would make the quarterfinals, but
Yes,
instead of facing, and I think we both had Tiafoe,
correct.
he is going to be playing Bruna,
Yes,
which
yes.
isn't a huge surprise, right?
No, it's not. Honestly and truthfully, that's probably who you would have assumed and or expected to make it. So again, that's the seed. So that's right. I do have to say though, Bryce, and I know that we'll talk about this more on IG, but that beatdown that our big foe took to Dimitrov, whew,
Uh,
whew,
yeah.
yeah, that one was a shock, not a surprise. That was a shock. I did not expect Grigor to get out there and play that well, and unfortunately, I didn't expect for Tiafoe not to be able to react and
Right.
change his game enough to make it competitive. That was just a beatdown.
And I was glad to at least see Tiafo come out and say, "Hey, look, that was some of the worst tennis I've ever played."
Right, right.
He said he played like he had never earned an ATP point.
Mm,
Uh, and look, it's a long season.
yeah,
You're not going to be on every day. You hope to peak during, the majors and that kind of thing. But,
right.
you know, Dimitrov, he may be an underachiever, but he's not a scrub.
No, he is not a scrub. That game is tight. Yeah, and when he's on, he can definitely be devastating. So yeah, yeah, absolutely, bro.
So we have Alcaraz against Runa.
Yes,
Then next we have Medvedev, who I had, and it sounds like you had Paul there,
yes,
that facing Chris Eubanks, who we've been
right,
talking about already. Now I am all kinds of conflicted about this match, right?
right, right.
Because my heart completely supports Eubanks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the brother win the whole tournament.
Absolute same here.
But out of this next gen, my favorite has always been Medvedev.
Right,
So
right,
I guess you can say I'm in a can't lose type scenario. I mean,
right,
if Eubanks wins, I'm gonna be excited. And then if Medvedev wins, I mean, that's who I expected to get through anyway. So
right. Yeah, I agree with you, Bryce. I think that. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I actually think that this is going to be a very, very highly contested matchup. And the reason
mhm,
I say that is because Chris played Medvedev a few months ago. I believe that's who he lost to in Miami, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like he hasn't dealt with the Medvedev game. And the one
Right.
positive that I see for Chris is that Chris is much better on grass than
Mhm.
he is on hard court, whereas Daniil is much better on hard court than he is on grass. So I feel like
Right.
that's a little bit of a leveling, if you will. So
Right.
I don't expect Chris to go into this matchup scared. I think that he is going to come just like he did with Tsitsipas. He's going to come with guns blazing. And we all
Right.
know that the way to beat Medvedev is you've got to be able to come in, you've got to be able to volley, you've got to be able to take your game to him. And I
Right.
honestly believe that he will do that in this matchup. Now, do I think he's going to win? I don't know. And I'm like you, I'm so conflicted. I don't know what to really think and or go with.
Right. Because one of the things we do know about Medvedev is Medvedev's not going to come out here and go 3 sets of just doing the same thing wrong.
Exactly. Right.
Medvedev, we've said many times, we think he's one of the smartest players out there on tour.
Right.
And we know that he will change things up if
That's
things
right.
are not working. For me, Chris's opportunity is exactly what you said. He has to come out guns a-blazing, hitting. You almost have to beat Medvedev same way you have to beat Djokovic. You have to hit him off the court.
Correct.
You're not going to out rally a Medvedev or a Djokovic.
Correct.
So I can't wait to watch it. But yeah. So
yeah.
So we have Medvedev and Eubanks. And Then we jump to the bottom half, and we have two people that I didn't have. We have Sinner versus Safiullin. And remember, Sinner is coming through where I had Hoffman making his bid.
That's right.
And he almost did it. He almost did it.
He almost, he fought the good fight. That's for sure.
Yeah, but he, didn't get it done. So we have Sinner, coming through, and then we have, and by the way, I'm sorry to our listeners when I'm saying he almost did it. I had predicted that he was going to beat Fritz in the first round.
Right.
And he went down in 5. The match was, halted due to darkness and carried over the next day. And Fritz probably had a night to think about, no. And brought that back through. But Safiullin, Isaac, who were the two people you had coming through that quarter originally?
Oh my goodness. Whoever it was wrong. I think I had I had Casper Ruud versus Gasquet. I should say I had Sinner versus Fritz, and then I had Gasquet versus Ruud.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and I had Fritz. My quarter was Fritz versus Gasquet, so that was again completely wrong.
Okay, gotcha. So so we both just shot ourselves in the leg on that third one, that third quarter right there.
Exactly. But kudos to Safiullin for making it through again. The Russians doing their thing. He was a touted junior. He was pretty good back in the day, and then kind of similar to a Karatsev. He just sort of kind of fell off. And I feel like now that you've got Medvedev and Rublev and Khachanov in the mix, I think the other Russians are getting their footing again, and he's one of them. So good to see him in the quarterfinal. That's pretty good.
And I remember how well he played at the ATP Cup.
Yes, exactly.
And I've been wanting to see him follow that up here in the tournaments, and well, here it is.
There you go.
And then in the bottom, we have Rublev versus Djokovic. When we recorded the show, Kyrgios had not pulled out yet.
Correct.
So I actually had Kyrgios facing Djokovic in that quarter.
Right.
Who did you have?
So I had the right round of 16. I had Rublev versus Bublik, but I actually had Sasha Bublik going to the quarters. And Rick, shout out to you, but shame on me. But I have to say, Sasha Bublik he had a good Wimbledon. To be able to make it to the round of 16, he played very well. And again, he played Rublev hard. It just, they've known each other since they were kids, and Rublev just, edged him out.
Yeah. So let's talk about our predictions now, our updated predictions going into the semifinals.
Yes.
So for me, Isaac, I'm actually able to keep three of my four.
Nice.
I'm gonna stick with Alcaraz coming through over Runa.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hate me, Chris. I'm picking Medvedev to win that one, but we'll be very happy if Chris wins. Um, at the very bottom, I had Djokovic coming through to the semis, of course, and then the one place where I had to miss was Hoffman. And between Sinner and Cephalin,
Yeah.
I got to go Sinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to go
Absolutely.
Sinner.
Got to go center. I agree with you, Bryce. I mean, again, I had Novak getting it to the semis, and I didn't have center or Safiullin, so I will pick center over him. I think it was a good run for Safiullin, but yeah, I think center will have too much game for him. And at the top, I picked Alcaraz to go through. I'm sticking with that. I, I'm just to be different. I'm gonna pick Chris. I
All
just
right.
I'm just gonna hopefully that emotion is going to help get him over the finish line. But like you, Bryce, I just think it's a toss up, and to me, I won't be extremely disappointed either way.
And I just want to bring up something else too, real quick, because
Yeah.
y'all know I am a Medvedev fan.
Yes,
Remember, it wasn't too long ago people were saying Medvedev didn't know how to play on grass.
that's the truth. And look at
He
him
looked
now.
like he looked like he know what he's doing to me.
Exactly. I think he does. I think so.
So, give me your semifinal results, Isaac.
My semifinal results. I'm basically gonna go with Alcaraz versus Djokovic.
I am going to match you on that, and you are going with for the win.
So I predicted Djokovic was gonna win, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay, I was the same in terms of having Alcaraz versus Djokovic, but I went with Alcaraz,
Hmm.
and I'm going to stick with it.
That's right. That's right. I would not expect any different. That's right, sir. So like I said, we own up to our lies. We do. Yes, we
Right.
do.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I that would be awesome. I actually thought for a minute there your boy was going to get with Djokovic. Herkic?
Yeah, well, and he should have, to be honest with you. Herkic, again, he's my dude, but I'm just gonna call it like I see it. He choked. He choked in both of those tiebreaker sets, first and second set tiebreakers. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he choked, unfortunately, because he was playing great tennis. He was firing those serves, and actually got up a break in the first set tiebreaker. I would think he was up 5-4, and then just kind of collapsed and gave Djokovic both of those points, and then Djokovic served it out. So he let the moment and he let Djokovic overwhelm him.
Gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with you.
But I love
So
Hubie.
yeah. Hey, look, he went out there and he battled. So
That's right.
that was good. So
Yes.
as we move over to the ladies, Isaac, I want to
Yeah.
start off with going back to the first round because we had a couple of very interesting results from round one.
Yes, we
And
did.
and let's just start with the one we really pumped up, and that was Venus against Svitolina.
Hmm.
What did you think about that match?
It honestly, to me, it lived up to expectations. I mean, it was unfortunate that Venus took a stumble in like the first game, I believe, or first couple games it was, where she was going to the net and the knee kind of buckled and she
Oh
went
yeah, game
down. And
three.
yeah, it was game three. There you go. So that was definitely disappointing, because we already knew that she was hampered, but then for something like that to kind of creep in and then your mental's off. I think it just kind of threw her. But at the end of the day, though, you've got to give kudos to Svitolina because she got up in there. She knew that she was not going to be like the favorite, and she just kept her head down and she went to work.
Yep, she did.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
did.
So, but we love us. We love our queen. We love Queen V, and hopefully, she can continue to get herself, in good health and can fight the good fight to play some more tournaments. I'm so happy that she did not, pull the rip cord, if you will, and retire. for this
Yes.
Wimbledon. I'm so happy that did not happen because I think you and I both were anticipating that that was going to be the case.
Right. And the thing that you hear everybody say is, in terms of the quality of her ball striking,
Hmm.
it's as good as it's ever been.
Right,
You
right.
know, it's just some of the other physical things that may be hampering her, you know.
Exactly, exactly.
And we're going to talk about Svitolina a little bit more later.
Yes, yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So, another first round result that may have
Whew.
surprised some was Coco Gauff going out to Sophia Kenin.
Yeah, yeah. That was definitely a surprise. I think everybody knows that, if you've been watching tennis and you've read the stories, everybody knows that Coco has a weakness, and that's that forehand. And I think, unfortunately for her, she played a country woman who, again, is trying to find her rhythm, her way back, if you will. And she's got enough nuance in her game to be able to really expose that weakness. And in my opinion, that's exactly what Sophia Kenin did.
She did, and props to her because she didn't stop after she took out Golf.
Right,
She kept
right.
she kept it going
She
for a
kept it
minute,
going.
you know.
She really did. I mean, she played some good tennis, Bryce. I feel like this should bode very well for her going forward. Like I said, she played a couple really good rounds of tennis, and it took, it took a good effort to be able to take her out.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And you've been saying that you kind of felt she was on her comeback trail.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do believe that she, like I said, she got back with daddy. So, her dad's her coach, and now that they're back together, and I think things are back to level. I really do expect to see more or better results from her going forward.
Right. And then the third match I wanted to bring up to you is, and we had mentioned this as a popcorn match. Didn't know if a lot of people felt the same, and
Hmm.
that was Sakari versus Kostiak.
Man, come on.
So let's talk about it. This is two majors in a row
Yeah.
that Sakari has gone out in the first round.
Yeah. I don't quite. It's not that I don't understand it, because again, I predicted the French Open one with Kostiuk. I felt like she could have gotten through that, and probably should have gotten through that one. Um,
Hmm.
and again, she played a great match, but Kostiuk was just, she was just better on the day, I guess. And for Sakari, that's a problem. I mean, if you're really trying to not only be a top, one of the top ladies on the WTA, but hopefully contending for Grand Slams, you have to take this as a a point of, I've got to do something. I've got to make a change or do something different. Because this, to me, it's just not acceptable. I'm sorry, it's just not. And
And
mind
what?
you, she gave a bagel that first
Yes,
set, a bagel.
yes, yes.
So she bailed her the first set, and then still lost 7-5, 6-2. Took a whole biscuit and was like, "Hey, I opened up a bakery too."
Right, right.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
that those just wanted to quickly touch on those because those were
yeah,
three very surprising first round results. Now,
absolutely.
let's talk about our predictions, right? So
Yes.
now, I don't know about you. I fared a little bit better with the women. I was exactly 50%.
So how was I? Let me see. Of the eight, let me see. Well, my predictions are horrible, but of the quarterfinals, I got one, two, three, four. I got 5 out of 8.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
So
just picked
let's,
the wrong people going forward.
okay. So, let's start with our first quarter.
Yes.
Um, I originally had Swiatek against Kasakina, but to my joy,
Hmm.
Swiatek is going to be playing Miss Fitalina Monfils.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree with you. So I had Iga versus Golf, and we talked about what happened there. So yeah, I too am very happy with an Iga Svitolina Monfils quarterfinal.
Now, Isaac, very much like we've talked about with Chris Eubanks in terms of his ranking shooting up based upon this performance, this is two majors in a row now that
Mm-hmm.
Svitolina has made the quarterfinals. And I think they were saying she was going to be like in the top 40.
Yeah, yeah. It's ridiculous. The fact that she, again, and for those listeners that don't know, she just came back from maternity. She just had a baby Sky, with Guillaume Monfils. And for her, and her comeback was quick. It wasn't like she took like a year off. I mean, the baby is not that old, and she
Right.
is back, and she is getting with it. And I think a lot of that motivation, of course, I think comes from not only the family aspect of it, but it comes from the country. For those of you who don't know, Svitolina is from Ukraine, and
Mm-hmm.
she has done a lot of things as far as donating prize. I believe one tournament she donated all of her prize money to the Ukraine efforts.
Right.
So she is playing for country, and because of that, the young lady is very motivated, and she is playing some of the best tennis I have ever seen from her.
Yes. She's really hitting the ball.
Ain't she though? Come on, man. I,
She
I
is
didn't
real.
even I didn't even realize she could hit like that. She hit some forehands, and I was like, okay, where this been?
Right.
Where have these
Exactly.
strokes been? Come on, sis.
Exactly. So,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. So that is first quarter.
yes.
The second quarter, I had Pagula versus Vekic,
Same
but
here. Yep.
it's actually going to be Pagula versus Vondrousova.
Yes, it is. And just really quickly, Bryce, I know we keep going on these little tangents, but can we give a little mini shout out to Sloane Stevens? Sloane actually played some really, really good tennis, and she played a really solid match against Donna Vekic. She had Donna on the ropes, and
She did.
unfortunately, she choked it out a little bit in that second set and allowed Donna to get back into it. Exactly. And Donna Vekic ended up pulling that match out. But to me, Sloane played in that first set and a half the type of tennis that I would like to see her play, which is be aggressive, but utilize your defense when you need to.
Right.
Sloane's got a big game. Sloane's got a big forehand. She's got a good serve. I don't feel like she uses it enough, and I don't understand that. But with regards to that match, that first set and a half, I was extremely impressed. Shout out to you, Sloane.
Yes. Um, so that is the second quarter. Now, if
Yes,
we move to the third, um, I had Kvitova versus Rybakina.
same.
Um, you had the same, but we have Jabeur versus
Whew.
Rybakina, and Jabeur did not play around with Kvitova today. She
Bryce.
started her off at the bakery.
Go and talk through it, bro, because
She, I mean, I don't think Kvitova knew what hit her.
I don't think
You
she did
know,
either. I didn't know what hit her because I was just sitting there like, Orange Jabeur is not trying to play around. She's like, I don't care about your two Wimbledon championships. I don't care. I'm trying to get back to where I was last year, which is in that
exactly.
final. Orange Jabeur played some tennis today, bro. Yes, she did.
I'm so happy for her.
I am as well. I am as
You know,
well.
I mean, we like Kvitova too. Don't
Oh yeah.
don't don't get me wrong, but Jabeur's coming back off of injury,
Yes.
and she had an okay French Open, not exactly what she really wanted, but she's doing really well. But I'm telling you what, her road, and we'll talk about this.
Woo.
If she's gonna win this title, she's got three big wins that she's gonna probably have to nail,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I
Um,
don't know either, because first of all, she gotta get her revenge on who took her out of the championship last year, which is Rybakina. Mm.
Right. And Rabakina ended up getting a retirement after giving local girl Bolter
Woo.
two breadsticks.
Two
Um,
breadsticks.
yeah, so I mean, so Rabakina is feeling fresh.
Yes, yes, she is. That's gonna be
She
a
had,
tough one for Ange Jabeur. That's gonna be a
yeah.
tough one. I know
And
she got
then,
revenge on her mind, but
right. But then if she gets past that, in the fourth quarter, we have Madison, your girl, Madison Keys,
right,
against Sabalenka.
right.
And I had Krejcikova versus Sabalenka. Now with Krejcikova, I know she retired
She did.
I think. What was the source of her injury?
I don't know, Bryce. I don't know, but she ended up retiring to Mira Andreeva, the young little 16-year-old, who I have to say, Bryce, impressed the hell out of me
Oh
today
yes.
against Madison Keys. But back to Krejcikova, because we'll talk about the young lady in just a second. But yeah, I don't know that I heard why Krejcikova had to retire. So yeah, I'm not sure.
And unfortunately, that took them out of the doubles as well.
Exactly,
So
exactly. So hopefully both of them, Sinyakova and Krejcikova, can be healthy at the same time and can hopefully then mount a good battle for the U.S. Open later on this fall.
right, but go ahead and speak on Andreva.
Yeah, Andreeva, man, 16 years old. I am impressed. I mean, now mind you, I hadn't really seen her play, so but again, she's gotten some pretty nice scalps, if you will. But I
Mm-hmm.
did watch her today play against Madison Keys. That young lady can play. I mean, she
Yes,
had
she
Madison
can.
Keys on the ropes, and Madison was all kinds of twisted. She was like, I don't know how to play this little girl, and and honestly, she got very fortunate in that tiebreaker in the second set, and was lucky enough to pull that out. And when she did, I think Madison kind of found her game because she actually started playing more net, which is shocking. But in truth, that is how Madison Keys should be playing. Because if you look at her game, she hits such a great inside out forehand to the backhand side. And if she comes to the net on that shot, she's probably eight out of 10 times she's going to get an easy volley put away.
Right.
And she started utilizing that shot a lot more in that match. And yeah, her net game, as far as the stats go, they were incredible. I think she went to the net something like 35, 40 times.
Wow.
It was crazy. But again, it shows how when you got a big game like that, you can't just be planted on the baseline and let people just, get your stuff back. No, get to the net and put it away. Take something from Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks ain't sitting on the baseline.
You sure ain't.
Right? So I think that Madison Keys is playing the right style of tennis. Now, unfortunately, is she going to be able to do that against Sabalenka?
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know about all that.
That one, yeah, yeah. So, because Big Sab got up in there and she was like, because she had her scare. Let's not get it twisted.
Right.
When she played that first round against I mean not first round, but that second round against
Well,
Grantcheva.
Gracheva. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was all kinds of twisted and finally got her head right in that second set and ended up pulling it out 7-5, 6-2. And then, she said, blink over, no, I ain't blinking today, and told her to get on her way. And then Alexandrova, she was like, yeah, you've been playing real good of late, but now, sis, go and take this bagel and get out the way.
Right.
Come
So
on.
let's talk about who do we think is going to be in the semifinals. So give me your four semifinalists.
All right. So, okay. So I'm going to go back to who I picked. I
Hmm.
actually picked for the semis Iga versus Vekic and Kvitova versus Sabalenka. Now, Vekic and Kvitova let me down.
Okay.
So, who I am actually going to go with is I am still sticking with Iga. I think Iga will end up playing Jess Pagula, which I think
Hmm.
will make for a very interesting semi because
Yep.
Jess should, quote unquote, air quotes, should have the upper hand on Iga because she has low ground stroke. She stays low to the ground. She shouldn't give her much to work with. So she should have the edge. But I tell you what, Iga Swiatek is playing some good tennis right now, yo.
Yes, she is.
So with that said, I'm gonna jump to the bottom. And as much as I loves me some Ons Jabeur, I just Rabakina is I just don't think she is to be stopped. So I think
Right.
Rabakina is going to get past Ons Jabeur. And of course, I'm sticking with my prediction because I did actually predict Madison Keys versus Sabalenka, and I do believe Sabalenka will get through that one. What about you, brother?
Okay. Same upstairs. I picked Swiatek to come through against Vekic.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of Vekic, I am putting Pagula in there.
Yeah,
And then at the bottom, I had Rybakina versus Sabalenka.
yeah, yeah.
So keeping that the same, I'll cross over to the finals. I have Rybakina taking out Sabalenka to make the finals. And and I would pick. I'm picking Swiatek over Pagula just because Pagula has a little bit of that soccery in her
Right.
when she gets
Right.
to this stage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She just doesn't seem to get the job done.
Right.
And Swiatek is kind of the opposite.
Right.
she typically gets the job done. So that's a
Right.
bad combination.
I agree.
Uh,
I completely agree. Yeah.
what about you?
I'm actually going in the same direction because, of course, my draw was all kinds of blowed up because I picked Vekic versus Kvitova. And so for me, if it's Iga versus Pagula, I agree with you. Everything you said was spot on. I would have Iga making it to the final, and I definitely would. If it's Rybakina versus Sabalenka, I'm going with Rybakina. And because I actually thought Kvitova would be the one to knock out Rybakina because it was power versus power. But since Ons
Mhm.
Jabeur jumped on her and snatched her around, I really am leaning towards Rybakina going, honestly, Bryce, going all the way. So I see her defeating Sabalenka, getting to the finals against Iga. And remember, Rybakina got that that ice cold. She is not trying to play around with Iga. And I feel like on grass, she will wear her out.
Yeah, I'm the same. I got Rybakina taking out Swiatek in the finals. But I'm gonna tell you what, that finals would be another match that I would honestly be very happy with either one winning.
I agree with you.
I kind of like supporting Eagles dominance, and for all you haters out there, um, I, I like supporting that, but I really do want Rybakina to get that feeling of having won Wimbledon with the points and the money and all the prestige she should have
Exactly.
gotten
That she shouldn't have
last
got.
year.
Exactly. That she should have gotten last year. Exactly. I am right there with you. But to be honest with you, Bryce, I honestly feel like whoever comes through that bottom half is going to win, though. I even think that if Sabalenka comes through the bottom half, I would give her the edge over Iga. I really would.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, before, and I wanted to mention this, and I guess it's appropriate since we're talking about the ladies.
Yeah.
I think I heard that Osaka had her child.
Really? I had
I
not
heard
heard that.
they said that her boyfriend announced it at one of his shows that she had a girl.
Oh wow,
Now, I
nice.
don't know that I have seen confirmation of that anywhere,
Hmm.
but that was the news I saw like last night.
Nice, nice. Well, we'll definitely have to get that confirmed. I'm sure that once we go on our IG live, that the family will definitely firm that up if if it hasn't already been. So
Right.
awesome,
So,
awesome. Yeah,
but
Bryce.
anyway, the tournament so far has been amazing, and
Yes.
we've got some really good matches coming up here um, in the second week of the tournament, and it has not failed in terms of the level of entertainment and drama that I feel like I've needed to see in a major.
Yeah, exactly, man. I have so loved all of these matches. Again, we've got the doubles draw going on. We won't talk through all of that, but we will mention that in the post show, the wrap up show. But quick shout out to what's his name, Mektic and Pavic. Thanks guys for at least winning 2 rounds.
Right.
Please keep it going. You're still our guys. We still we
Right.
still we still support you, but yeah, hopefully they can keep up the winning ways.
Yeah, I
So
thought it was interesting that they were yesterday playing each other in mixed doubles.
I know, right? That was kind of cool though. So like I said, the more court time they get, the better, because hopefully they find their rhythm and really get back to where we feel they belong in the rankings and lifting some titles. So
Right.
definitely more to come in the main draw, the men's draw, the ladies draw. Pagula golf, they're still trying to do their thing. Hopefully they can continue to make it through. Kind of a shocker to me, Bryce, that Taylor Townsend and Layla got knocked out.
Yeah, Taylor took the L twice because she
Yeah.
and Jamie Murray got knocked out of the mix as well. So
Right. So
they can try again for the U.S. Open.
that they can, absolutely. So definitely more tennis out there, folks. So again, we're just right at the midway point. Lots of goodness still to check out with regards to the Wimbledon draw. And folks, we are going to start wrapping up, but just really quickly, we want to make sure that you do not forget that if you need legal representation, look no further than the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Once again, he specializes in sports related law, but covers a gamut of areas connected to it. From talent agreements to royalty disputes to medical malpractice or negligence to photography agreements to podcast agreements.
Hey, I'm still gonna holler at them about them podcast agreements.
Come on.
But whatever you need, Paulus Haberman is your guy. Call 201-564-0590 for a consultation. Again, that's 201-564-0590. And one more time for our good folks in the way back, 201-564-0590. Let Paul fight for you both in and out of the ring.
All right. Good stuff, Bryce. Bryce, anything more that you wanted to point out in regards to this fantastic Wimbledon 2023?
I can't think of anything other than let's go Chris Eubanks.
Come on, man.
Make it happen.
Show. Exactly. Make it happen, brother. We are so very proud of you. Keep it going.
Absolutely. So, well, Isaac, let's jump on over to IG for our after show. And for everyone else out there, enjoy the tennis next week. And we'll be back next Monday to give you our final wrap up. So, on behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, take care.